I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Blackest Heart, and The Lonesome Crown, all published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today I'm going to be reviewing Jade War, book number 2 in Fonda Lee's The Green Bone Saga. Now, you know, we always start out these reviews by talking about the cover. You know I'm into illustration, you know I'm into graphic design. I always review the covers and the packaging of the books before I start with the books. So let's get right to it. As you all know, as you can see, there's very minimalistic graphic design. There was very minimalistic graphic design on Jade City. Very minimalistic graphic design on Jade War. It's almost as if they want these big, huge, bold fonts and typefaces to just sit in the Barnes & Noble bookstore and scream at you, Jade City! Jade War! Like, you can't miss it. It's in your face. Like, what other series possibly put huge type, like huge obnoxious typefaces on their book covers? In other words, you know, my book would be called The Forgetting Moon! Jade War! Because we want these book covers to shout at the customer. We want them to just demand attention. And these book covers do that. Another thing I love about the packaging of these books, these Jade City, Jade War books, is on the inside, we've got these delightful maps. And I know I pointed it out in my review of Jade City, but they've got these delightful maps. The most delightful being our island of Kekon. And the island of Kekon looks like a dead rat. It looks like a dead squashed rat on the roadway. It's like roadkill rat. He's got his little eyes, you can see there's a rat there. Just a magnificent map fitting for the story. And then our road map, our city of, it's not Kowloon. Kowloon is a real city. What is this, the city? It is the, Janloon. Yes, the city of Janloon. I've been to Kowloon, China, which is right across the bay from Hong Kong. So when I read these books, I just picture that landscape. And Janloon, I think, is based off of Kowloon. That's why I get them confused. But this map is brilliant because at the bottom of the map, there's just this little tiny thing here. Just little things that publishers do that delight me. And it says, the Wu-Tu Fukusuku Road Atlas Company made that map. Just absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And then there's a lovely cast of characters. I like when we get a cast of characters because these books are about warring clans, kind of like The Godfather. So, you know I love Jade City. You know I loved it. If you saw my review, I was super excited to get to Jade War because Jade City was one of the best novels I read in 2020. Now it's 2021. I just read this over Christmas break. I'm telling you, did not disappoint, man. I lit my incense because I've been to Hong Kong and there's incense burning in every building you walk into. And so you can't read these books about The Godfather and Hong Kong and Kung Fu and all of the Asian flavor that are in these books and not have incense burning while you're reading. You just can't. You gotta get in the mood. You gotta get in the right frame of mind. So I lit my incense. I settled in. I started reading book number 2 in the Green Bone Saga by Fonda Lee. I was not disappointed. Man, everything that was magnifique about Jade City is in this book too, and it doesn't let up. You know, it reminds me, these books remind me, they're like a cross between, gosh, what are they a cross between? They're a cross between great kung fu movies and the Godfather series. They really remind me of Noble House by James Clavell, which I've mentioned before. Noble House is about the warring clans of high-stake financial mafiosos, sort of in Hong Kong, that James Clavell wrote. It's a big, huge, thick book. Jade City, Jade War is kind of like Noble House, mixed with The Godfather, mixed with Sopranos, mixed with every awesome, cool, Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee movie you've ever seen. With a little bit, just a little touch of Jade Bone magic thrown in. And what is the Jade Bone magic? Let's get right to that first. The Jade Bone magic is this magic, this jade that people sew into their skin, they embed it into their body, and it gives them, only the Jade Bone warriors get it, and they get it like, it enhances their physical skills. So when they do their kung fu and their jujitsu and their samurai sword fighting and all of the stuff that they do, that if you're watching a movie, it just like, no human, it's impossible. Humans can't do that. Well, the Jade Bone magic makes it so all of that over the top kung fu action that's in these books makes sense. Because a normal human can't do that. A normal human cannot possibly do the Jackie Chan stunts, right? In real fights. But the Jade Bone magic, this jade that gets embedded into them like tattoos, enhances their physical skills. So the magic makes sense placed within the culture that we're talking about, which is Hong Kong, Asia, Kung Fu, and The Godfather. The Godfather. That's what I love about these books, man. The magic is minimal. The story could remain the same without the magic, because it's just Hong Kong mafioso, clan against clan. There's no dark evil lord that our heroes are fighting with their magic. There's no like evil dragons or evil lords or Lord Saurons or Voldemorts sort of hovering over everything. There's no chosen one. There's none of this typical fantasy magic stuff. There's no Harry Potter. There's no magical school of Hogwarts. There's none of that stuff. It's just this clan against this clan, trying to out evil each other, really trying to get the leg up on each other. Like The Sopranos, if you watch The Godfather, The Sopranos, that's the way it is. And some of the characters have this Jade Bone magic embedded into them. And it's just fantastic. I love it. And so we've got the two warring clans, the No Peaks clan, the Mountain clan. No Peaks clan is the one we focus on most with Shay, the sister. So in Jade 1, in Jade City, the book 1, Jade City, it's mostly about the Godfather type figures. But those, we won't know spoilers for anything, but let's just say that the new generation is now taken over in Jade War. The Godfather figures in Jade City we won't say what happens to them, but it's like the new generations now. The younger, the children of the Godfather now have to take over the running of these clans, both the No Peaks clan and the Mountain clan. And in our No Peaks clan, we've got Shay, who's the sister, Hilo, who's the brother. We've got other family members that we won't talk about because we won't want to spoil anything in either book. We've got and the cousin. Those are kind of the three that the story sort of circulates around. And oh my gosh, just like, I don't know if you've watched The Sopranos, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like evil versus evil. These Sopranos, Tony Soprano was the biggest turd on the planet, but you found yourself rooting for him in every situation he was in. It's kind of like the No Peaks clan. It's like Hilo and Shay. They are not just like your goody two-shoes. They are not like your normal protagonists. It's like Hilo. They get themselves into situations where they're doing bad things. They're justifying the evil that they're doing for the clan. And it's for the clan, like Yellowstone. If you watched Yellowstone with Kevin Costner, it's like they're trying to hold on to their ranch. And they justify really horrible, evil things just to hold on to their ranch. Meanwhile, the people around them are just suffering. And that's the brilliance of this. It's like The Sopranos. It's like, yeah, they're doing awful things to other people, but you kind of follow them and root for them at the same time. And they've got, and that's what we're talking about. I don't want to give away any of the plot spoilers for any of this, but if you like those kind of things, if you like Breaking Bad, The Sopranos, Yellowstone, if you like those type of stories, set in Hong Kong or Asia against the mafias, the Asian mafias, with a little bit of magic thrown in, with just some magic thrown in, where people are trying to find this jade and this jade bone magic and just hold on to it, like grim death. It's just fantastic. I just have adored this story because it's so different. It's like taking The Godfather and adding just a splash of magic to it and setting it in another culture that you can learn about. A culture which I've been to. I've been to Hong Kong, and like I said, everything I relate it to Noble House, which is about Hong Kong. I just assume that this is all taking place in an environment that looks exactly like Hong Kong, and I'm cool with that. It's even better because you saw the map, and it's not even like Hong Kong. It's like a dead rat. Which is so awesome. It's so awesome. I love it. I love these books. Gosh, I just can't get over how much of a change of pace these are in the fantasy world. I write epic fantasy, but it's your typical, quest-based epic fantasy. And, now I'm scratching my head going, I gotta come up with something to top Fonda Lee. She just kicked my ass. I'm gonna come up with something to top Lee Durfee has to come up with something to outdo Fonda Lee. But she already did it. She already swung for the home run and hit it out of the park, man. These things are awesome. These books are awesome. I can't recommend them enough. If you want just great. And I almost forgot. I was going to mention this at the beginning. These are optioned for TV show. Oh, if they turn this stuff into a TV show, it's going to be bigger than Breaking Bad. It's going to be bigger than The Sopranos. It's going to be fucking wildly awesome because they are written like those episodic TV shows where it's just like every chapter you end on a cliffhanger and you're just like, oh, gotta find out what happens next episode. Oh, these would be, if they make these into a TV series and they film what's in these books, the next Game of Thrones, the next water cooler series that you're talking about, Jade War and Jade City, man, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. They're like the perfect books. I mean, it just doesn't get better. It doesn't get better.